the magicians, the abracadabra that we've heard since we were kids. That actually is an ancient Aramaic term
Mm.
for as I speak, so I create.
Wow.
We can create magic with our words. The ancient Egyptians said to write something down using words, language, in their cases, hieroglyphics, is to make it happen. So
Hmm.
words are energy packets. Yes, as a writer, I'm very conscious of using them with respect and as accurately and truthfully as possible.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jenna Blackard. Lianka Reina is out on vacation this week. This is the How Hustle Mystic Morning Show, and today we're talking with Dana Micucci, and we are talking about her transmissions with Mary Magdalene. We're going to talk about her book. We're going to talk about how to really live a more fulfilled life, one with self-love, one with self-mastery, and one that is really calling you from the field. Before we get started, I have just a couple announcements. Number one, if you are watching now on YouTube, go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can get notifications. And we would love to hear your comments. In fact, we have a brand new YouTube community. Please look for a button on YouTube. It says Visit Community. You can see it on the homepage. There's a new button up there. We're going to start a community about some of these conversations that we're having here on YouTube. And we'd love for you to be a part of it in the YouTube community. Save the date for February 11th at 4 p.m. Pacific. Lianka and I are going to have a vision board workshop. And it's not vision board in the way that you know it if you know us. We will really start with that frequency of you really, truly being in the field and you communicating with the field about some of your innate desires and what you really want to bring in, not just for 2026, but probably for the next 3 to 5 years. It's going to be a 2-hour workshop. It's not really about cutting out things from a magazine. You can do that after the 2-hour workshop, but this is really about you coming into you as a whole being and calling in some of your divine desires from the field. It will be coming through the newsletter. We'll be talking about it all month long, and I hope you can join us February 11th. Hi, Dana.
Hi, Janice. Thank you. It's really great to be here.
I just want to start with really informing the audience a little bit about your background and how you started having this connection with Mary Magdalene.
Let's go back very far to my 30s. I was a journalist in New York City. I had a very exciting life. And like many women in their 30s, I wanted to meet my sacred partner. So I took out an ad. I met this guy. We knew we weren't a match. It was a blind date. And he said, I have something that I want to show you. Can you come back to my apartment? Of course, I teased him about that. And he said, no, this is really serious. And so I did. I trusted him. And he handed me a book. And it was called The 9 Faces of Christ. And he said, you must read this book. The only thing is that I ask you to return it and leave it on the desk for my doorman. So, Jenneth, when I started reading that book, I'd say it was probably my mid 30s, my whole body began buzzing. I felt hot and cold, and it was just like so many memories were unlocking, so much familiarity. And it was all about the Essenes, all about this group of desert mystics in ancient Palestine who nurtured Mary Magdalene and
Yeah.
Yeshua, whom I call him. And Mother Mary was one. Anyway, so that was my first, it was almost as if Spirit sent that man to me to reawaken within me what was already there. So then fast
Wow.
forward many years later, and I was fairly young, and then many years later I went to the Mary Magdalene sites in the south of France. Now when would this be? I don't know, at this point maybe that would be like 15 years ago perhaps, for the very first time. And when I was in the basilica, And now maybe some of your listeners have been to these sacred sites in the south of France. They're extremely powerful. This basilica, beyond religion, is really a massive vortex of light. And in the basilica is her crypt, said to contain her relics. Now, whether they're the actual relics or not, and her skull was really beside the point, because her energy was infused
Yes.
in this basilica, and especially the crypt. And it was something came over me, Jenith, and I found myself falling to my knees, just I and began weeping uncontrollably,
Mm.
which is not like me. I'm a gentle Pisces soul. I don't like public displays of any. I like to stay in the background. And one of the women, I was with a very small group of women, and she helped me to my feet and said, I know how much you miss her, and I know how much you love her. And I think what happened at that time, Jenith, is this huge circuit of divine love, of infinite love, beyond the particular love that we have for our loved ones, just pierced my heart in such a way that blew it open. Now, our heart continually expands throughout our journeys in this life and beyond, and it's an ongoing infinite process. But that was,
Wait, okay. I'm just going to
yeah,
make note. We're going to talk about that a little bit
yes,
more. Yeah.
yes. So anyway, that was the catalytic moment when I made contact with her. And ever since then, a lot of my work is devoted to Mary Magdalene's healing wisdom,
Mm.
which is timeless and universal, and also to the healing wisdom of the Essene Desert Mystics, the community of which she was an integral part.
Uh-huh. Let's dive into self-love, and let's dive
Yeah.
into that as a way. And I feel like that's the foundation of fulfillment, so to speak.
Yes.
Yeah. And I feel like people throw it around, just love
Hmm.
yourself, but it's so different. Can you give us some like tangible kind of vibrational sensations around what that connection with self-love really was?
The connection with self love, I feel, is so related to our connection with spirit.
Mm.
Now, whatever word people want to use, God, the creator, the universal presence, I say
Yeah.
spirit. And when our connection with spirit is so strong and unshakable, which is our foundational practice on the spiritual path, to
Mm.
continually refine that connection so we don't slip out of it, which is what all the great
Right.
masters
We,
did.
we just talked about that last night in our inner circle. It's like a wave where it like you have this rush and you feel this insane presence, this insane awakening, and then that water goes back out. And then you're
Right.
like, oh, I'm just this little person now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's what and I'll finish that thought, but
Hmm.
cinch up. I say to light workers, everybody listening is a light worker. It's not a special term, it's people who
Sure.
consciously work on behalf of the light. And even if you aren't conscious of it and you're a virtuous, heart centered person, you're also a light worker. So I say to everyone now, our greatest mission is to refine and sustain our ability to hold and emanate the light, which means to refine and sustain our ability to connect with the
Hmm.
God within, with our mighty I am presence, our individualized immortal God presence, which connects
Hmm.
us to spirit God and beyond that to source through a column of white light extending from our crowns way beyond. So that when we can not fall out of that connection, when we can stay in it and train ourselves in it, we could talk about how do you do that moment by moment to sustain that connection. And then self love is automatically there because we feel so much love for everyone everywhere, including ourselves. And if we are all one, we would also love ourselves at the same time that we
It's
feel this deep love for others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things
And
I brought up on the summit last week was if we were truly being self-love and the other people in the planet were as well, would there be any hate? Because it would literally be like me taking a knife or a dart when I judged you or judged somebody else and put it right in their back. And if we loved ourselves that much, we wouldn't do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That gets into the core teaching of almost
Hmm.
every spiritual path, which, and the ancient Maya, to just
Mm.
skip over to that, have this beautiful saying in Lakesh Alakane, I am, you are me. I
Mm.
hurt you, I hurt me.
Yes.
So at that point, when we've come to, it's like it's an inner, it's almost an inner alchemical transformation when we not only know, but embody that knowingness. We realize that there's nobody else out there.
Mm.
This distinction between subject and object, us versus them, enemy patterning, is obliterated. And the Buddhists talk about this too. So and I feel that the Essenes, and especially Mary Magdalene in our time, really have so much to teach us about self-love,
Mm.
because their connection to spirit God never wavered. That's why they had these gifts. That's why they could create what we call miracles. Miracles are our natural birthright. They're not they're very surprising and fun and uplifting, and yet there are miracles all around us, and we could create miracles at any time. And that's why they could heal. Of course, they healed themselves first and then could be a massive healing force for others, because of this unshakable connection to spirit God. And the masters have
Mhm.
said the only difference between us and them, I'm talking about ascended masters like Mary Magdalene, Yeshua, Saint Germain, Babaji, all of those who reside in the seventh dimension. And beyond that, we have our star families, our masters, what the
Oh.
Arcturian star families and the Pleiadians. Okay, the ascended masters have said that the only difference between us and them is that their trust in spirit God never wavers. That's the difference. And
Uh-huh.
they feel worthy. They
Yeah.
feel worthy of that trust and of their connection. So for self-love, which all of us humans at some point in our lives have to work on, a lot of that has to do with that trust and our ability to feel worthy to receive.
It's funny when you say that, it brings back this moment last October. I was coming back from an acupuncture appointment and I started to feel almost as if my higher self was like, don't go there, go here. I know how when there's an accident, an angel like is like brakes, right?
Right,
But
right.
that's like this itty bitty connection. This day I felt guided for an hour.
Wow.
And it was
Wow.
profound. And I was just over the moon with it, with this, oh my gosh, I actually am like this infinite being as we talk about. And it was
Right.
duh, because we keep saying it. And then at the same time, when you actually have an experience of it, you go, wait a second. What if it actually is that way? And then you're like, wait, it is that way.
Right.
Getting to that unwavering connection day in, day out,
Yes.
that is truly something that we don't talk about.
We
Like
don't talk about.
nobody really is experiencing it to that level, it seems.
And yet at the same time, we can aspire to that, as Mary
Right.
Magdalene modeled, and that consider them our elder brothers and sisters. She walked the path before us.
Hmm.
She incarnated on earth, mastered the lessons of
Yes.
life, and merged with her individualized immortal God presence.
Like
This
she did
is,
it. She showed us
she
how
did
to
it.
do it. And
She
we still
showed us.
are, and look how many years ago that was, and we're still denying it and
Yes,
being
right,
like, I
right,
have depression and anxiety and all these
right.
other human things and this noise from that's probably not even mine. Yeah.
Exactly. And humans themselves are not entirely to blame because it's our culture
Mm.
that conditions people to feel less than, to feel
Mhm.
unworthy, whether it's the media or other institutions. And so it's really just for us to just gather inward and keep all of those external influences at bay. People talk, there's that famous saying, to be in this world but not of it. And that's
Mhm.
where we are on this path, to really try to master being in this world but not of it, and not be susceptible to the media and to what we read in advertisements and see and hear around us. If it's not the highest vibration, we can choose to simply walk away from it.
I love that you said walk away. That was my first message when I first connected telepathically to anything. That was in 2005 when I was walking away from my corporate job.
Oh,
And I
wow.
went and I had a midlife crisis for a moment because I was going to the bathroom and all these people followed me into the bathroom and they were just asking me these stupid business questions while I'm peeing. And I was
Oh,
just like, no, this isn't the life that I want to lead.
right.
And then I like
Yeah.
said nothing and just walked out to my car, which was brand new and it smelled of all those delicious brand new flavors. I put my
Yeah.
head on the steering wheel, and then the next thing I hear is walk away. And that was the exact words that came telepathically at that moment. It was this deep voice, walk away.
How interesting.
Uh,
That alone, Janet, shows how connected we are.
I
Not just
know.
you and
And
me,
then
but
yet we
everyone.
deny it.
And we
I mean,
deny.
and how much
Yeah,
do I think I can't do this? I'm
right,
not good enough. Nobody's going to like it. Nobody's going to
right.
want it from me. And we do all this conditioned noise to put ourselves down, to put ourselves down, to put ourselves down.
Yes,
What are the
yes.
tools and practices you have with people to help them break that stupid cycle?
That is a great question. And I think that is one of our most important tasks right now.
Mhm.
And a practice that I use that I love, that is deceptively simple and yet profound, is called stalking yourself, STALKING. It's simply a matter of noticing where is your attention in every moment. And I'm sure
Mhm.
the Essenes did this in their own way, and I could talk about one or two of their practices. Where is your attention in every moment? And again, this is not about self judgment or the whip to the back. Oh, okay, here I am. I got mad at this guy who stepped in line in front of me, or this surly service person, or whatever it is. We're in the human realm with a lot of density. And so you simply notice that you got thrown off and distracted. Where was your attention? It was on that incident, it was on a lower vibrational emotion that came up with for you, and that's fine. You're not going to beat yourself up. You're just to say, oh, okay, I'm just going to redirect my attention back to my heart center, which is the place of unity and oneness. And
Mhm.
from the heart center, which I say is the seat of our Christ presence, and the launching pad of our ascension on our return path to spirit God. It's the heart and the high heart. And this is what Mary Magdalene showed us again and again in her
Mhm.
teachings, in her gospel, in the practices of the Essenes, and in her example. And so that's a very simple practice. Okay. And then you just bring your attention back to your heart. And what happens when you are present in your heart, which I say is like the intersection of the temporal, this horizontal plane, and the divine. It is the still point, the place of unity where all of the dualities that define our earthly experience collapse and integrate, which the masters and the ancient mystery schools had a word for that called the sacred intermarriage of opposites. It's a foundational teaching and practice in the ancient mystery schools that Mary Magdalene and the Essene mystery school engaged in, including the Egyptian mystery schools all the way back to Atlantis and the Law of One, and all the way up to the priests and priestesses of Avalon. It's an entire lineage of light that a lot of us are part of. There are other lineages of light. This is the one that I am familiar with and part of. So we simply bring our attention to our heart. And when we live in and through the heart center, we are grounded in our bodies. We feel more joy. We feel more balanced. We feel more connected to the earth. We
Mhm.
are more open and receptive and accepting. We're
Mhm.
more tolerant. We're more open to receiving information from the higher realms of light when we are
Mhm.
focused at our heart center. And Janet, a lot of my work also is about divine embodiment. And we can't be truly divinely embodied unless we are operating from the heart, not the head. That is our hardest
Well,
task.
and I would even say it's even beyond the heart. Yes, the heart is the
Yeah.
biggest space of it, but it's really being able to allow that heart to reach out even beyond your body and into the
Oh, for
field and into the
sure.
infinite. So
Intriguing.
yes, I feel like sometimes words are so limited that
Words
sometimes
are
it's better to
limited.
use extra words for people, for it to really
Yes,
land in the frequency.
true. And the heart, yes. And so when I'm glad you brought that up, when I mentioned the heart, I'm talking about the heart and high heart centers, energetic
Uh-huh.
centers, which
That heart coherence that we
and the
have with the
coherence.
field. Yeah.
And there is a field of energy that extends. It's a toroidal field that extends from the heart centers, heart and high heart, out just like many feet beyond you. And people come
Yes.
up to you, Jenneth, or to whoever, and they can feel it. They can feel the energy of your heart center. And that's why the high heart center is the place that we access universal love for all
Mm-hmm.
it's our launching pad to the infinite. It's through the high heart center.
Tell us about the transmission that Mary Magdalene has about the high heart.
Yes. Okay. Mary Magdalene writes a lot in her gospel about the state of inner unity, this state of integration. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, you have to decipher it. And it's the Gospel of Mary. It's a very profound sacred text. It's beyond a text. It's a vehicle of light, just like the Gospel of Thomas and other, like A Course in Miracles, a transformational vehicle of light. And she talks about,
Oh, I got it. I got it in the sense of the energy.
and
Yes.
she talks about the nous. Now that's
Okay.
interesting because if you look at the French language,
Uh-huh.
nous,
Uh-huh.
nous is we. But back then
Uh-huh.
in the Aramaic language, they said nous, which is the heart mind, the mind in the heart. So what does that say right there? That they are integrated, that there's no separation, that they are all one.
Yes.
The
And they know
mind
that they're integrated.
and they, yes, they know that and they live that
Yes.
from that point of knowing. And so I thought it
Mm.
was fascinating because I love France and I speak a little French. And I was like, whoa. So the French word nous means we, which makes
Yeah.
perfect sense because that means we are joined, right? We are joined at the noon. She
Mm.
calls the heart the noon of our being in the
Wow.
nous, which is the mind in the heart. And so much is about taming the mind to be in service to the heart. Because the
Mm-hmm.
mind, when I say heart again, it's like everyone, the way Jenith and I described, it's the energetic space that extends far beyond the physical heart. That that is the place in which unity consciousness originates. Beyond, so we need the mind. Our thoughts are very powerful. But with a thought, we can create anything, right?
Mm.
But sometimes we get caught up in that monkey mind, as the Buddhists call it. And
Yes.
we want to drop out of our heads and into our hearts because the mind agitates the heart. And then people begin to feel this, they become hostage to what I call the pendulum swing of emotion. Now, emotions aren't bad. We need emotions. They give us information. And there is a cliche, energy in motion. That's exactly what it is. They give
Mm.
us information. We say, oh, thank you. But we allow them to pass through us. Those emotions must pass through us. We can't be attached to them because that blocks our connection to spirit God. Okay. There's
Mm-hmm.
a time in Mary Magdalene's life, and I can't remember where this was reported, when she had made, it's an inner shift, it's an inner alchemical shift. It might happen in an instant, like you had that, Jenna.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa,
I've had a few instances, and now
right.
I'm getting a lot closer to understanding that I'm connected all the time.
So you
Understanding meaning I be it.
are it,
I
right?
correct, but I am not always being it.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
I have less glimpses of the out.
Yes, yeah. And then our experience will reflects back to us our inner state, right?
Uh-huh.
So the more integrated, the more whole. That's to holy. The word holy means to be made whole. The more whole
Really? Hmm.
we are
Hmm.
inside, that becomes reflected in our outer world, right? And
Uh-huh.
it's because everything, as we said, is so connected. So to get back to that example with Mary Magdalene, when she made that inner shift, now who knows? That was probably after many years of practice and meditation. And the Essenes had many beautiful rituals, and they worked with the heavenly and earthly angels a
Mm.
lot. And they were all about cultivating a balanced life, a heart-centered, balanced life, all about balance in harmony with the Heavenly Father and the earthly mother. Those are the Essene words. But let's just say, and they also honored the equality of the divine masculine and divine feminine in all things.
Mm.
That's just one example of all of the dualities that define our earthly experience, which spirit and matter, heaven and earth, light and dark, hot and cold, that we live in a duality paradigm and we came to master it. Mary Magdalene and other masters did master it. So when she reached that point of unity and felt it in that inner knowing, like you described, she said about her sacred partner, Yeshua, he is no longer the object of my affection. He is the subject of my truth.
Uh-huh.
Whoa.
Mm.
Every time I
Gosh,
tune into that and say that, I get the chills. Wow. Right then and there, she acknowledged that, yes, I am you or me.
I know. And we
There is
miss
no
it. It's
other.
like we are so conditioned to be separate that we
Yes,
constantly miss it. We constantly miss it. We constantly miss it
we
because
do.
of our programming.
It's the programming. We must dismantle the programming. I'll share with people one thing I like to use because you asked me
Mm.
about practices and tools, and I
Yeah.
shared that practice of stalking oneself, which
Uh-huh.
today the word might be mindfulness, but just bringing your attention back to the high heart center and in connection with spirit God so that
Hmm.
you don't waver. The another practice I love to use is the golden ray of Christ light. Now, a
Uh-huh.
Christ is not a religious term. Yes, it means the anointed one, but a Christ means a fully healed, whole, and complete human being. There
Mm.
have been many examples of Christ. Babaji is one of them. Saint Germain, I mentioned earlier, Kuan Yin, many Christs.
Yes.
And people feel that's so far out of reach. And yet it's not, because we truly are powerful beyond measure,
Mm.
as we all have experienced in those glimpses of eternity, in those moments of aha moments. We are invincible,
Mm.
divine creator beings of infinite potential. We're multidimensional. Now, there's so much coming in. Jenith, I'm sure you felt like the slippage of the assemblage points of this reality,
Yeah.
where objects go missing and
Yes.
you feel
Slippage. I
as
love that. I love that
yes,
word for that. Or
yes.
things appear and you know that it's there for a reason, gives you a sign or an indication.
Right. Things just appear.
Absolutely.
Like, where did
Or
that come?
deja vu, even.
Deja vu.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, whether we're doing it consciously or not, those of us who have stepped onto the ascension path, the spiritual path, and want to better ourselves on this path of mastery, because that's what it's all about. Mastering the self. That's what Magdalene and Yeshua taught us. Yes, we have helpers, we have teachers, we have channels, we have people who can assist, but it's really up to each one of us to reach that state of inner mastery so
Yes.
that we can be of service more effectively.
Yeah.
What's the whole point of becoming a Christ, is to be a force of healing and service in the world. And boy, does the world need it now more than ever.
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't love the word service because then it sounds like you're a servant. I often use the word contribution
Okay.
because then it's that giving, receiving simultaneously.
Yes.
So and the truth
Right.
is, when we're really divinely guided and our purpose is divinely guided, we want this.
Yes.
The amount that I want you guys to really get this oneness is insane.
Yeah.
I want it for myself, yes, but I also want it for the masses. I want people to
Right.
really get that this is the way we are, and we just haven't been taught this way.
We haven't been taught this way. And so we're really dismantling the programming. And so going
Yep.
back, because I bring up things but there's so much coming in. The golden ray of Christ's light, I use a lot.
Okay.
So
But
if
maybe that's what we do in a transmission today.
we can, and
Right?
yeah, and the emerald ray, I also use now. Mary Magdalene's
Mm.
associated with the emerald ray. And so is Mother Mary, who serves on the emerald ray of light. But these are all the rays of God, and there are many of them, seven, but even now, way beyond seven, 12, and more. So
Is
these
that a
are
part of the violet flame?
the violet is one of them.
Mm.
Violet, yes, and we can use the violet flame. And if I'm sure your listeners have heard about it, that's a wonderful gift from Saint Germain to to just clear away that debris, clear away
Hmm.
the programming. The violet flame is a great practice. Or, like I say, the golden ray of Christ's light. As soon as you have a thought in your mind that
Mm.
creates discord or
Okay.
instability within you, you just imagine with your mind, even your third eye, this golden ray of Christ like coming in and incinerating that thought. You send it right into your central brain.
I have this, yeah, we do these
Yeah,
anchoring practices with who does it belong? Is it even
right.
mine? Poop it back.
Well,
This is a
that's
very
another.
similar practice. I really love it because anything that is causing discord is a construct that you've created from this reality. So then you, boom, you
Absolutely.
blow that out. The
So
golden,
well
what do you
said.
call that? The golden
The
light,
golden ray of Christ light. It's
the
it's
golden
it's
ray of,
something that
wow.
spirit gave me. I use
Uh-huh.
it in my life all the time. I send it into my brain. I send You could send it into a parking space. You could send it into a room to clear the room. I
Yeah.
often clear spaces before I give talks and workshops.
Uh-huh.
It's a clearing mechanism, and it's also a
Uh,
way to realign yourself with your own Christ light.
yeah.
Remembering the definition of the Christ. And people, they might, I don't know, because of sometimes it sounds like a religious association, but this is way beyond religion. And I acknowledge the place of religion. It helps some people, that's fine. And yet there are many of us who've stepped on an alternative path. Like you said earlier, Jenith, words can be confusing because they're very limiting.
Yeah.
And it is really important to be accurate in
Yes.
the words because they are, what would you call it, units of creation.
I also feel like in the words get you aligned with the frequency of it so that you
Yes,
can actually be it when you speak
yes,
it too. And that transmits.
absolutely. The magicians, the abracadabra that we've heard since we were kids, that actually is an ancient Aramaic term
Mm.
for as I speak, so I create.
Wow.
So that's
I
a
have never
wow.
heard that ever.
Yeah. So we can create magic with our words. The ancient Egyptians said to write something down using words, language, in their case, hieroglyphics, is to make it happen. So
Hmm.
words are energy packets. And
Yes.
yes, as a writer, I'm very conscious of using them with respect and as accurately and truthfully as possible.
Wow.
So,
Let's do a Mary Magdalene transmission just so people can
okay.
experience some of your work. And then I want to talk a little bit about your book and
Sure,
and we'll
sure.
go from there.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to connect with the energy of Mary Magdalene. So everybody, we've been talking a lot. It's been very stimulating, and Jenith and I have had so much to share, but now let's drop out of our heads and into our hearts so we get a lived, felt experience of what we've been sharing. Grounding deeply into your bodies and into the crystalline core of Mother Earth, letting go of all cares, worries, and concerns of the past days and weeks and even moments. As you ground deeper and deeper into your heart and high heart energetic centers, which connect us to the realms of the infinite. And now, as you continue to breathe in and out through your sacred heart, which includes both the heart and high heart energy centers, with deep inhales and exhales, visualize a pendulum swinging in your mind. Visualize that pendulum. And then see it swinging slower and slower until it comes to a complete stop in your mind. And now do the same in your heart center, visualizing the pendulum swinging back and forth. And then it slows down, becomes slower and slower until it comes to a complete stop. Your heart and mind are now fully aligned with your mighty I am presence. The electronic body of light extending about an arm's length above your crown that connects you to the infinite I am. Now continue breathing in and out through your heart center. And just then, Mary Magdalene appears in all of her exquisite brilliance. What does she look like? What does her energy feel like? Perhaps she is here to impart an important message to you. Feel into that now and open to receive her wisdom. Now reaches out and offers you a beautiful pink rose. And you accept it with gratitude. See and feel this rose at your heart center now. Its petals opening and growing bigger and bigger, expanding more and more to your heart and high heart energy centers. You are transported by the sweet fragrance of this rose that takes you deeper into meditation until you feel only love. Whereas the rose petals continue to blossom, they sweep away all discordant emotions, dense, heavy energies that you may be carrying. Without blame, this is a human condition. And now as these dense, heavy energies dissolve in the fragrance of the rose, the petals growing and sweeping them away, you feel an even deeper and more expansive love. This is the love of the high heart, the love, the universal love that extends beyond our love for our loved ones or our pets, the particular love. It extends to all beings, to everything, everywhere, into the realms of the infinite. Feel this now, and this love pours through you, through your entire body and energy field, infusing you and encompassing you with a self-love that you have rarely felt. Take a few moments to really feel this love. And now this love continues to grow as the rose expands infinitely within your heart center. As Mary Magdalene stands beside you, transmitting her catalytic high heart energy, igniting healing for you on all levels. And this love now that has filled your entire being, your self-love, your love for yourself without judgment, now extends to Spirit, God the Creator. What does that feel like? You are so deeply immersed in this high heart love. It is a place that you never want to leave. It is like an exquisite nectar. As you continue to inhale the sweet fragrance of the rose, And now this love for yourself, for Spirit God, now morphs into the emerald ray of healing light that carries this love along with it. As you see the emerald ray of healing light extending from your heart center out to all of your loved ones, to those you know and care about, to your pets, and beyond them to all sentient beings on planet Earth. You are filled now with the emerald ray of healing light, which is one and the same with this high heart love. And now this emerald ray of healing light emanates from your heart beyond all sentient beings to Gaia herself, to the nature spirits, the sacred land where you live, the elementals, your angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, your star families throughout the multiverse, and your own mighty I am presence. See and feel this emerald ray of light emanating from your heart center, infusing and encompassing all that is. And now, as you merge with all of these beings and beyond, go deep inside without a doubt that there truly is no separation. You are always one with the heart and mind of God, with everything, everywhere. And now take a few deep breaths in and out through your heart center again. As Mary Magdalene fades into the distance, though she is always available to you, her incandescent wisdom, her profound infinite love and compassion. Grounding once again deeply into your body, breathing in and out through your heart and high heart centers, the place of unity, of oneness. As you slowly open your eyes, feel the joy bubbling up within you. Feel gratitude for your many blessings. Consistently accessing your joy and gratitude accelerates your ascension in the light. And so it is.
I wanted to read one on the chat that maybe we can talk about. And it says, I always get a block of, I'm not worthy of this love, even though I feel the love, even though I know how important unconditional love is, even though many galactic beings say they love us unconditionally. There is always a pang of doubt. Why me, though? And I think that reads for lots of people, at least sometime in their life. I know certainly that read for me years ago. And maybe some on days that I'm just not feeling totally aligned. Have you ever spoken about some of the reasons why this collective all thinks that they're wrong and they're not good enough? Have you ever gone deep into that with a transmission or a or anything.
Yes, that has come up in my workshops, at my events. And this goes all the way back,
Mhm.
Jenna, to the days of Atlantis and
Yeah.
even before that, because
Okay.
humanity has been engaged in, let's call it an epic battle between light and dark for a very long time. And because we are here to master this duality paradigm, sometimes there is some confusion.
Mm.
Sometimes it's not all the light, and there is a shadow side. And that's what makes us fully human, by the way, to really acknowledge, embrace, and integrate the shadow
Mm.
within ourselves. Okay. And this takes time and this takes courage. For example, maybe you want to do a practice where you're calling out various discordant emotions, dense, heavy energies. Say it: anger, shame, grief, whatever it is, sadness. And there's nothing wrong in and of themselves. It's just how they make you feel. And you just blow it away. Jeneth mentioned this earlier, similar to a practice she does. And just keep calling it out within you and blow it away. And why are they there? Because they became anchored there a very long time ago in this duality paradigm where there were seemingly those who wanted control over others, who moved into an energetic state of power over love, okay, of the love of power versus the power of love, of service or contribution to self versus contribution slash service to others. So this took hold in our, what should we say, in the substrate of our duality paradigm a long time ago. So our task is to, and then we've talked about the conditioning. And again, for the same reasons, because of the love of power, because for whatever reason, there are some humans who like to grab this power and feel inaccurately that they have power over others. So we don't need to buy into that. I have seen the Atlantean timeline close up and collapse. We're moving way beyond the times of Atlantis when a lot of beings went to the side of the quote dark. Again, remember, this is the duality paradigm. And so I feel that at a deep soul level, we have learned the lessons of Atlantis. We now just
Mm.
need to reclaim our worthiness,
Uh-huh.
our worthiness to receive. We need to know that we are always protected and supported by what I call a higher guiding force, Spirit God, no matter what our circumstances. And so just using some of the practices I shared and removing these destabilizing thoughts, which create the feelings of unworthiness, remove them from your minds. Of course, you might have your own meditations. Remove it with the golden ray of Christ's light. The
Yeah.
emerald ray is there for healing. We use the emerald ray in the meditation to send healing love, because of course, love heals all. Love is creation. And you can use that as well. I've used the emerald ray, and again, that's associated with Mary Magdalene, to heal a number of things, including a physical imbalance within
Mhm.
myself and others.
Yeah, like the
Jen,
whole nervous system rebalancing is often because we're in a fight or flight state. And
yes.
I've been doing these practices with touch lately to balance my nervous system. But I find that it's
Mm,
mostly about safety. In those of
yes.
us that had trauma when we were young, or at least the trauma is
Yes.
locked in our body somehow, we had we haven't addressed it. So it's
Right.
there would be a resistance to receiving love if we don't
Yes.
feel safe
Of
because we
course.
were never safe with a parent or never safe or never felt wanted in with a friend group in high school or whatever it may be.
That's true. And so this is where self-love comes in. So of course, it's only natural that you would feel that way. That doesn't mean that you're less than.
Yeah.
You're just feeling it. And Mary Magdalene would say that this experience here on earth is about sinking more deeply into it, more deeply into our bodies and our earthly experience versus trying to escape it.
Yeah.
But again, the integration of opposites, of all the dualities, the more deeply you sink into your body, yes, feel the pain,
Yeah.
feel it and let it go. Because
Yeah.
again, it brings information, important information to you, emotions slash feelings. That's different from states of being, by the way. A state of being is joy. That's a state of being beyond an emotion. Love is a state of being that is constant. These emotions slash feelings, they're fleeting, but we don't want to push them away. So it's a very valid point that you brought up, Jenith. Yes. How could one?
Yeah. Let's talk about your book, Living Dangerously, which
Yes,
sounds very fun. I'll put the link in the chat, you guys, if I can.
sure.
Uh, Go ahead and give us the insights because
The
it's
lowdown.
a brand new book, you guys. It
Yes.
just came out and I like the title for sure.
Oh, thank you, Janice. Yes, it's called The Years of Living Dangerously, Lessons from the Front Lines of a 21st Century Lightworker.
Love it.
And people say, oh, that sounds familiar, The Years of Living Dangerously. But if you remember the film, if you're of a certain age, there was a film by the great Australian director Peter Weir called The Year of Living Dangerously, which is one of my favorite films. And so I added an S, and it seemed to encapsulate my journey of, let's say, the past decade, more than a decade, past maybe 15 years. And so it's a sequel to my memoir, Sojourns of the Soul, One Woman's Journey Around the World and Into Her Truth, which came out in 2011, which does chronicle my journeys to sacred sites, my inner growth and expansion. And this takes it way further, where it is a spiritual memoir. It's also filled with ancient wisdom, and it chronicles my journeys to sacred sites, leading groups on spiritual ascension missions to, for example, the sacred sites of Mary Magdalene in the south of France. There is a whole chapter on that. To Egypt, which is really like a second home to me. I've been there so many times. To the Holy Land, when things were not as much in chaos there years ago when I took a group there. To the Maya lands of Guatemala, for example. And there is a chapter on Mount Shasta, which is a massive planetary power node and vortex of light, where we would do planetary work, service work, and personal and planetary healing at these various sites. The reason it's called Dangerously, Jenneth, is because the more I put myself out there on the front lines publicly, the more backlash I received. This goes all the way back to what I was saying about we live in a duality paradigm where there is light, there's the opposite. And again, I am not on the path of religion. However, I do remember that in the Bible, there is a word for this called principalities, and the Bible talks about principalities. And so what happens is that you have what I call the anti-forces, okay? That's my word for it. The anti-forces, they will just come at you. I experienced a lot of sabotage, interference, setbacks, obstacles, a lot of near extinction events because I took this light work, this ascension work publicly. And that's fine. That what else would I have expected? But I learned and grew in the process. And book is about all of my tests and trials and transformations and Jenith, the many miracles, to get back to that happened along the way.
Love that.
Yes. And so I wanted to write it as a supportive roadmap, let's say, for other light workers, supportive and empowering roadmap to say, look, this may be happening to you. You're not alone. You're not alone. And
I think that hearing stories, the stories are the best part of some of these shows, but hearing the awakening stories, it's inspiring. And it goes, and especially the weirder ones. I'm about the weirdest of all. Been had a weird walk-in experience. I've had all these different things, and it's really quite I love reading books where there's near-death experiences or
Yeah.
miracles or things out of the blue, because it just makes you go, I knew it. And
Yes.
and then again
Yeah.
brings us back to that remembrance.
Right.
And
It's
then you
so
don't feel as weird.
you don't feel as weird. It's so true. It's all about remembrance, not about a piling or adding on, but stripping away the layers to what's already within you.
Yeah. There's a message on the chat and it says, your book is an absolute joy of validation for all your work. Thank you
Aw.
for the inspiration. It is a powerful read. Go get a copy. Love it. XO. And Tiffany
Aw.
responded, it's in my cart.
Oh, thank you. Whoever said that, thank you so much. I'm humbled
Yeah.
to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. Let's show them how they can work with you and open up your special offer here.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and bring it up on the screen. All right. Tell us a little bit about this special offer, how people can work with you, they might experience when they do work with you, the whole shebang. We can just start here at the
Okay.
beginning.
Okay, Jenna, thank you. Yes, because we were talking about Mary Magdalene, and she is such a figure of great curiosity and especially empowerment for women, but men too. I wanted to devote my special offer, part of it, to an audio program that I created. It's one of my more recent programs, but it's really allows people to travel with me to the sacred sites of Mary Magdalene, like I did on the ground for many years, which I'm not doing anymore in the physical, but I wanted to have a record of it. And I've been told by various people who have listened to my online courses and programs, Jenna, that it translates just as powerfully, if not more sometimes, online than in the physical.
Uh-huh.
So that was good to hear. But these audios really take you deeply into this transcendent high heart wisdom of Mary Magdalene. We talk about the sacred intermarriage in more depth. I mentioned it. We talk about the Magdalene order. What is the Magdalene order? How do you know if you're
Mhm.
part of it? Who are the Magdalenes? How did Mary Magdalene and the great masters heal? That is a very fascinating topic in and of itself. And then also her connection to the
Wow.
Cathars, who
Uh-huh.
were, you may have heard, a utopian community in the southwest of France in the Languedoc region who honored Mary Magdalene. And what was her connection to the Cathars? Exquisite way of life. I feel
Wow.
that they were descendants, in a this is coming from me,
Yes.
you decide, descendants of the Essenes, and carried on that Essene high heart wisdom about harmony and balance and living in connection with the earthly and the heavenly, within and without. And then there are 3 modules in this program. And we have another module, Our Lady of the Grail Quest, because Magdalene was also associated with the Knights Templar and the Holy Grail. That's a very fascinating topic.
Oh, wow.
And we talk about that and what was her meaning to this quest. The Grail quest has been with us for such a long time. It's such a part. It's beyond mythology. It's not a myth.
Uh-huh.
I really feel that the Grail quest happened. I feel that King Arthur, Queen Guinevere definitely walked the earth. They were higher beings of light, in a sense, carrying on the mission of Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. And then we get into the Gospel of Thomas and the Gospel of Mary. And I just shared a tiny bit about the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. And you can read or hear, you can listen to much more about it in this audio program. So that is the second module. And then we have
Yeah.
the third module where I actually take you to the sites in the south of France. And then we
Oh,
delve deeply into the Essene wisdom and their sublime practices. I share those as well. And that was her community. Okay. We
oh,
go to the sites in the south of France. I take you on that journey. It's as if you are there in the physical. That is in the third.
neat.
Now, all 3 of these,
Fun.
yeah.
That's super fun. Okay, go ahead. I'm reading some of the comments too, that it cannot begin to express how deeply grateful I am to you for the courage, wisdom, and strength to look to create. the sacred Mary Magdalene journey. How
Yeah.
beautiful. Wow.
So, yeah, so this is a way for people to experience in audio form what I and other groups of light workers experienced on the ground in the south of France. And so I wanted that to be available to people who may not be able to go there in the physical. And especially there are other, you can go, of course, on your own. And I'm just not doing those journeys anymore in the physical. And so,
Mhm.
along with those three audios in my first package, comes a 30-minute phone call with me to get more clarity on your soul's mission, on your most pressing concerns, also to assist you in accessing your own higher wisdom and power, right,
Mhm.
more easily.
Yeah.
Uh, and so that's all part of that first
Package aid.
package
Uh-huh.
for 97. And then we have the second package, which you can, when you look on Jenna's site, you can see that these are all heavily discounted to make them more accessible. We have 7 audios where you not
Wow.
only get the Mary Magdalene program, but you also receive 2 of my other programs in an extra audio. And one of them is Infinite Love, an online retreat in the Holy Land, which is basically putting in audio format the sacred journey I took with other lightworkers to the Holy Land, to these high-powered sites like, let's say, the Garden of Gethsemane, the Sea of Galilee, Qumran, and Mount Carmel, which were Essene strongholds. Again, this is about the Essene Mystery School. Okay,
Hmm.
sacred sites of the Holy Land, as I write, can ignite a profound shift in consciousness that realigns you to original source energy. There are not many places in the world that can do that. So you'll have 3 audios in there. I think it's over 4 hours.
Well, okay. That's package A. There's
Package. This is package B. So you get everything in package A with the Magdalene program, plus I'm adding in these other audio programs in
got it.
package B.
Wow.
So one of them is this online retreat in the Holy Land based on my on the ground experience, which, by the way, came with so many miracles, Jenna. To this
Mhm.
day, I'm still astounded by them. And these miracles are available to anyone, I want to say,
Yeah.
who's doing the work, right? And so this is all about the Essene way and their healing wisdom. And it really, I created this to help ease the way through this great turning of the ages so people can thrive during this time of uncertainty and to make an even bigger contribution, okay, to the planet, and to not only thrive but to move through this great turning or the great shift of the ages with more joy, with more ease, well-being, and fulfillment. And then we have my other audio offering in package B, which is Portal to Paradise, which takes people with me
Mm.
to the sacred sites of Egypt, which again,
Fun. That's really
I
where I want to go next.
oh, yes. And
Mm.
so if you are planning, now I want to say, of course, going to these sacred sites in the physical is just fantastic. It's like plugging your finger into the
Yeah.
socket. And if you do have plans to go and you want to go in the future, these audios will really prepare you to
Yes.
receive all of the light slash information and the wisdom that you're meant to receive, to really travel as a pure and clear channel of the light,
Wow.
to receive healings. In fact, one of the modules, there's a single standalone module in package B based on my talk that I've given for many years all over, including at various expos, called The Healing Power of Sacred Sites. And
Uh-huh.
it helps you
Goodness.
learn, how do you travel to sacred sites, let's say to clear
Uh-huh.
energetic blockages and distortions, to serve as what I call like acupuncture needles, bridges, connecting the realms of heaven and earth, transmitting and receiving light for personal and planetary healing and transformation. All of these modules, Jenith, are not just me transmitting wisdom or energy transmissions, which are in and of themselves powerful. It's also practices and
Hmm.
ceremonies and initiations and activations. It really will prepare you for any of these journeys
Yeah.
if you do decide to take them in the physical. And then in package B, this is a 60-minute spiritual attunement healing session with me, one of my more popular healing sessions. And this is to assist you in releasing any limiting beliefs and perceptions, to heal
Yeah.
physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual imbalances. We can work on self-love and self-worth. That comes up in so many of my healing sessions and mentorships. And then also to, again, gain more clarity about your soul's mission. So that's 60 minutes, that session in package B, whereas in package A, it's a 30-minute
30
session.
minute. Uh-huh.
And this is for 197. And I think, Jenna, all of this in package B is almost 75% off what it would normally cost.
Yeah, yeah. Hold on, I'm trying to find the real chat.
Mhm.
Where's the real chat? Here's the real chat. There we go. All right.
Oh,
The link is in the chat, you guys. It'll also be on the YouTube caption and wherever there are words if you are listening on the podcast. Wow, what an amazing package. So both of them include a session with Dana. One includes a powerful 1 hour healing session with Dana, which is valued over $300. And you also get all the audios so that you can learn about the sacred sites in France, the Egypt, and the Holy Land, and a whole lot more. So if you are like looking to travel, and I think this look, but I don't know. I think you can receive from this no matter what. I love that it includes a reading list too. I'm just like, how
oh,
was that?
I forgot to mention, yes, some people ask me about that. How can I learn even more? These are very
Yeah.
in-depth, Janice, very in-depth.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of ancient wisdom in there.
Yeah, I
So,
love that.
especially if you're not going to travel, this is the next best thing to being there. And I also, it did include the reading list for those who asked. And in the
Mhm.
Holy Land in Egypt online retreats, you have visuals. You will
Mhm.
actually have slideshows that you can look at as you move along through the audios.
Yeah. Dana, thank you so much for being here today. And it's just truly an honor. Do you have any
Oh,
parting words?
oh, it's an honor to be with you, Jenna. Thank you for having me on. I guess my parting words, and this might sound so deceptively simple,
Mm,
but in our day and age, what I've noticed so much with all of the changes in the world and so much chaos and confusion, we need more joy.
yeah.
We need more joy. So
Mm,
find and do what brings you joy. Try to re-access that because joy is a state of being, as I mentioned earlier, and it is the highest frequency we can hold.
mm,
Joy encompasses love. And so remember that you are a healing force through your very presence. It's not so much what you do in the world, it's who you are and the frequency you hold.
yep.
And you can really create. You're powerful beyond measure. Remember that. Powerful beyond measure.
Love it so much. Thank you so much, Dana.
Thank you, Jenna. It was wonderful to be with you and all your listeners today.
Thank you. All right, you guys just hang around for just a couple announcements. Mentioned some at the beginning. Just a reminder, if you're on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the bell. We'd love also to hear your comments. And we have a brand new YouTube community. So we'd like to see you in there. You can find that by going to the YouTube homepage and clicking on Visit Community and just say hello. I'm going to be in there just meeting everyone. And definitely, we want to hear what you thought about today's call. We want to hear what you thought about Tuesday's call. And that makes me remind you that next week we'll be back with Lianka, and we meet every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. I also want to remind you that Lianka and I are putting together a vision boarding workshop, and it's really coming from an energy space and consciousness of the universe meeting the field and creating our vision based on that field consciousness that is seeping in within us. We'll also be helping you debunk some of the constructs that's keeping you from totally embracing your worth so that you can create everything that you're called to create. So I hope you join us. That's February 11th at 4 p.m. Pacific time, and more details are to come on that. Whew. And lastly, I just want to remind you that the summit is up for the rest of the season, but the VIP pass is going away on Sunday at the offer of $47. So if you'd like to get all our summits for always, we are right now giving you a special offer, and that is in a package for just $47. Also on Tuesday, I did a Dragon Voyage hypnosis, and I have a unique session through the end of January that I am opening up for you. So if you'd like to just try me out and work with me as a coach, now is your time. You have a few weeks to do that. I'm Jenna Blackert, and we're the How Hustle, and we're just reminding you to take a little time to enjoy the woo. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye, everyone.